Yo, you coming to Skitzo's Mass tonight?
Fusion Fire family, hello again. Alter your perception for 1 hour and enter the mystical world of Skitsomaniac.
I bring you downloads from before time.
For your chapter rent. Ain't forests. The Titan timber truth. Popcore thesis. The trees we see today, houseplants compared to the prehistoric mega-organic titans that once dominated Earth's biogrid plateaus. Mountains, mesas, they aren't just landforms. They're fossilized biotowers, relics of a pre-flood ecosystem built like cosmic skyscrapers. Its hexagonal basalt columns resemble the vascular structures of plant stems under a microscope, like the cellular bundles you'd see in modern celery, but scaled to megatree size. Often classified as a monolith, but its erosion patterns and structure echo petrified organic mass. Some believe it's the base of a once electrically charged tree system. Giant striation lines. Plateaus around the world carry vertical groove patterns and concentric ringed layers akin to tree rings, not sedimentary randomness. These stumps suggest trees thousands of miles tall, likely bridging Earth's grid points and possibly functioning as energy conductors between atmospheric domes and the surface. For grace lore evidence, sand particles show uniformity and smoothness, lacking the chaotic erosion one would expect from multi-millennial weathering. Localized theory. Sahara, Gobi, and Australian deserts all surround possible tree. Stump formations suggesting cutting zones, not erosion beds. You walking through ancient mulch, homie. That ain't sand, it's sawdust from the gods' landscaping crew. Laser precision and giant logging crews. Vertical cliffs on mesas and butts. They aren't ragged or random, many are near perfectly flat with no jaggedness, suggesting some kind of cutting tech like sonic blades or high vibration slicers. Mythic evidence. Giants show up in Sumerian, Norse, and biblical lore, always associated with building or breaking divine creations. This scroll says they were terraformers, harvesting these titanic organic towers. High heat residue and magnetism. Some cliffs show magnetized stone and glassified surfaces, possibly remnants of plasma-based cutting systems, not water or ice erosion. It's like Minecraft on ayahuasca. The giants came through with cosmic axes and went full deforestation simulation. Microscopy evidence. Plant fiber and stone. Researchers and fringe geologists have magnified mesa stone and found parallel fibril structures typically seen in biological cell walls, not mineral randomization. Mineralized cellulose traces in formations like Devil's Tower. The crystalline alignment mimics plant fiber orientation found in ancient fossilized wood, but at a macro scale. Carbon to silicon hybrids. Some samples display weird ratios of carbon and silica, hinting at transformation from organic tissue to mineral structure. Mainstream science denies biological origin, but the repeating structures, chemical signatures, and location context beg for deeper reconsideration. It's like Minecraft on ayahuasca. The giants came through with cosmic axes. Mid-core thesis. These stones weren't quarried. They were cultivated. Their curve, softness, and seamless fit don't speak of chisels or hammer marks. They whisper growth, a biological expansion process, like rock flesh stretching over spiritual bone. Stone growth theory. They weren't cut. They were raised. Saxsayhuamán's walls in Peru are composed of multi-ton limestone blocks that interlock with no mortar and zero wiggle room. The edges of the stones don't show cuts. They fold like skin, bend like clay, or bulge like cartilage. The theory suggests the builders softened stone using unknown tech or bioenzyme infusion, allowing it to shape and reform itself like wet clay, then hardened back into its crystalline rigidity. The answers of the mechanism: the use of biogenic acids, plant-based silicification processes, or geomagnetic heat shaping. Think of it like mixing stone DNA with life juice, making it pliable, then locking it into place once formed. Street translation: forget stone cutters. These cats were stone farmers. A fit with no gaps. A bioorganic snap system. The blocks at Saxsayhuamán locked together with mathematical perfection. Sometimes with 12, 30 interlocking surfaces per stone. Traditional stone carving can't replicate this, especially not at this scale and complexity. No evidence of tool marks, no evidence of repositioning. The stones appear molded to each other, suggesting a real-time reactive growth, like biomorphic puzzle pieces learning their neighbors. Zoom in on a multi-faced stone, highlight bulges that mirror adjacent gaps. It's like the stones talk to each other while growing. Nature's Lego bricks were alive, bruh. Stone fit like Wi-Fi signals syncing on site. In Romania, the Trovents are bizarre spherical stones that expand when wet, replicating and reshaping their mass like slow-motion tumors. They exhibit traits of concretion biology. Stone life forms reacting to environmental stimuli. Some are even hollow with ring patterns like tree trunks. When moisture enters their matrix, they push out new layers, proving that stone can grow if conditions align. Use visuals from growing megaliths from living stones and the living stones of Saxsayhuamán. Reinforce that what's shown in Peru might have once grown like Trovents, but far more advanced. They didn't build a city. They raised a stone jungle. But material properties, crystalline consciousness, analysis of Saxsayhuamán stone shows high levels of quartz, calcite, and silica, materials known to store energy, frequency, and data. Sucker 2, silicone DNA and stone. Flesh, crystalline creatures of the old grid. From core thesis. The ancient biome wasn't carbon-based like ours. It pulsed with silicone-coated life forms, some as vast as mountain ranges. These entities had structures resembling vascular systems, fiber bundles, and crystalline internal scaffolding. When the old grid collapsed, flood, fire, or terror-engineered, these beings fossilized into stone, forming the landscapes we mislabel as natural. Our mountains were megaplants. What we call mountains today were rotted-out trunks, stalks, and fibrous root systems of giant biomechanic trees. Post-flood petrification turned once-living vessels into inert silica stone like coral reefs fossilized into cliffs. Layering and striation evidence. Many mountains show concentric internal layering similar to tree rings or vascular growth cycles. Rock analysis in regions like the Appalachians and Andes reveal mineral chains that echo biological growth more than tectonic uplift. You think that's granite? Nah, that's grandma tree's thigh bone from before the reset. Get a silicone-based DNA, not carbon. Silicone, like carbon, forms tetravalent bonds, meaning it could act as the organic base for alien or ancient life forms. These creatures were light-transmitting, crystalline and megascaled. Their bodies doubled as infrastructure, data, energy, and ecosystem pipelines. In ancient mythologies, living stones were literal, sentient, growing, and connected to divine knowledge repositories. Yet slang dropped. These trees weren't just vibing, they were land cables for the gods. Gibasalt columns, vascular bundles. Traditional science says basalt columns like Devil's Postpile or Giant's Causeway. But their hexagonal symmetry and repeating patterns more closely mimic plant vascular bundles. Some fringe researchers have found internal crystalline lattices inside basalt resembling petrified biology. Not igneous randomness. You ever cut open a celery stalk and stack it in stone? That's basalt, fam. Silica-infused plant strains. Nature's USB sticks. Modern flora like horsetail bamboo and certain grasses grow with silica embedded in their cell walls. Silica acts like memory foam, storing energy, resonance, and possibly ancestral algorithmic data. Ancient megatrees would have had hypersilica matrices, able to absorb cosmic rays, ground energy, and sound frequencies, functioning like natural data crystals. Forget iCloud, prehistoric photos were stored in tree trunks made of quartz. Yet a new Earth lore, symbiotic grid life. These organisms weren't just trees or rocks, they were living architecture woven into the Earth's energetic field. Trees acted as antennas, stones as memory cores, rivers as cooling veins. The whole grid was an organism. When the flood or timeline disruption hit, everything flashed petrified, the grid went dark, the scrolls turned to stone. Yo, even the rocks got veins. This forest was breathing code. The Chapter 8. Algorithmic Mythos. The Tech Mirror. The sacred interface where mycelium meets mainframe. The Genomane thesis, from trees to tech. Algorithm as memory grid emulator. Today's digital algorithms, particularly content algorithms like YouTube's, aren't just mechanical decision makers. They mirror an ancient metaphysical system. The tree grid of lore. Think of tech platforms as synthetic orchards where data grows like ritual fruit, sorted and served according to authentic ripeness, not mere code logic. Algorithms aren't new. They rediscovered relics, mimicking ancient flow mechanics once pulsing through mythic trees, fungal veins, and Edanic knowledge nodes. Zera data pipelines is mycelium mimicry. Mycelium fungal root networks used by ancient ecosystems to share nutrients, intelligence, even electromagnetic signals between plant species. Today's data pipelines, fiber optics, server handoffs, and AI agents that route information like nutrient rituals, guided by invisible pulses, clicks, likes, dwell time. The parallel, both serve to centralized intelligence across networks, routing insight rather than just data. Mycelium responds to environmental need, algorithms respond to emotional resonance and user behavior. Same feedback spiral, different medium. Your data ain't traveling through code, bruh. It's vibing through artificial fungus highways. You scroll drops, fruit-bearing memory trees. Edenic trees weren't symbolic, they were living knowledge sorters. They knew when to drop fruits for awakened minds and withheld it from unready ones. YouTube drops videos to users. When engagement ripens, the creator acts like a tree and the video is the fruit. Algorithm waits until the viewer's vibe matches the fruit's memory code. Ancient scrolls were encoded revelations, only surfacing in precise cosmic timing. The algorithm mimics that function, pushing scrolls when the matrix detects energetic alignment. Tied mythic decoding. Every upload is a seed. Every view is a ritual harvest. Welcome to Orchard Ops. Your YouTube algorithm is Edanic fruit sorting. In Edanic lore, not all fruit was edible. Some fruits were scrolls, others were illusions. Forbidden fruit, with data clusters forbidden by divine sync.
Shadow ban content, suppressed knowledge scroll.
Shared fruit, viral drops with resonance. YouTube's algorithm decides what fruit you see, like a guardian cherub sorting the tree's bounty. Content virality mimics the garden's law of resonance. What gets shared must vibrate truth, humor, desire, or mythic magnetism.
Just like that. Now, so now they're going down to this Egyptian, and you can see it sure looks like it's like a statue. But then they came to here, boom, and I was just blown away. That's the guy's ribs. That is, there's no question, those are his ribs. Those are his ribs all the way down here. That is his lung. It's the right colors for the ribs, the marrow of the ribs. The red is from the lungs, and the part of the lung picks up stuff that is a different color because it's being transitioned into oxygenated. Then just below that you have the liver and so forth. And I mean, it's I don't know what else to say. This is an Egyptian that was petrified. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. There's his ribs. Boom, 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 boom.
And then a chapter falls. The Megaflood. Wipeout. When the grid got washed. Weird main thesis. The Megaflood wasn't just biblical thunder.
It was a timeline purge, a cosmic cultural alt-delete that submerged entire biogrids, drowned ancient megaflora, and embalmed the world in sediment memory. Myth meets morphology in this global event that left the Earth fossilized, fragmented, and rebooted. Geomythic memory. Flood is reset, not punishment. Nearly every culture holds a flood myth. Sumerian, biblical, Hindu, Hopi, Norse, all echo a global deluge that ended an age and reshaped the soil. But this scroll flips the narrative. Floods weren't moral rebukes. They were post-grid emergencies. The ancient world had lived in infrastructures, tree towers, and data-storing stones, all of which got drenched and hard-locked into history. The flood encoded loss, but also left biogenic residue, sludge filled with scroll fragments and deep earth DNA. Forget Noah's cruise. This was a planetary firmware flush. On mountains equals rotten trees from the drowned epoch. Megatree systems that weren't harvested pre-flood absorbed water, collapsed, and began biorot. Over time, pressure and sediment turned them into fossilized giants, now mistaken for traditional mountains. Organic analysis on some formations reveals layered lignin-like compounds, suggesting cellulose-based structures beneath rocky exteriors. Nipodendum, Devil's Tower, Appalachians, even certain cliffs in China and Peru show striation and vascular patterns consistent with petrified plant architecture. Funny line. That mountain ain't rock solid, it's compost from the gods with a mineral shell. Fludge, DNA tarp after the flood, the mixture of tree sap, organic mulch, dead flora, and minerals settled as sediment strata. Embedded inside, ancient bio-DNA, silicone memory particles, root algorithms, and remnants of a spiritual ecosystem. This sediment became the record keeper, a library of the grid encoded in clay and shale. Dale Connection, modern archaeogenetics is uncovering deep ancestry in rocks, confirming that Earth's stones aren't just dumb dirt, but scrolls from the submerged era. Mother Earth's mud got receipts, genetic mixtapes from the purple dawn to the plasma dropout. The flood didn't erase the past, it compressed it like mythic zip files locked in the mud. Ancient stone, monuments weren't carved. They were grown, anatomical, and alive. Remnants of once living beings, fossilized by unknown planetary trauma. Mud Fossil University suggests many Egyptian and global statues contain actual organ-like structures. Bone textures and mineral traces consisted with biological bodies turned to stone. This scroll decodes monuments as silicone titans and serpent remnants, not just sculpted idols. The Egyptian giant with organs, anatomy in stone. Mud Fossil University's videos show statues with visible rib cage curvature, recessed cavities resembling lungs, and even stone formations mimicking intestinal folds. One Egyptian monument, shows abdominal detailing too specific to be stylized, vertebrae ridge, sternum dips, and rib arc symmetry. Chemical analysis shows traces of hemoglobin, phosphates, and even possible calcified tissue, suggesting biological origin, not just artistic intention. Bro, they didn't carve abs, those were fossilized gains, six-pack from a post-flood god bod. Colossal statues with silicone giants. Massive global statues like the ones of Ramses, Memnon, and even Atlas in Greco-Roman lore share proportion anomalies, head-to-body ratios, eye socket placement, and internal cavities that match flesh gigantism, not human sculpture logic. Mud fossil theory says these beings were silicone-based, meaning they could fossilize differently than carbon life, preserving soft tissue and bone into hardened mineral layers, fingernail ridges etched into monument hands, ear canal depths too precise for stylistic carving. Skin fold texture in stone robes matching ancient leathered flesh. Those weren't sculptors. They were nature's coroners. Earth didn't forget the giants. She just embalmed them. That giant Snake Mountain, ancient serpent myth confirmed, featured by Mud Fossil University. A massive coiled mountain ridge shaped like a serpent, scales intact, jawline obvious, and eye socket cavity visible from aerial footage. Mythic correlation, stories from Vedic, Native American, and African lore mention cosmic serpents, giant earthbound worms, or dragons that govern the land. The mountain striations resemble skin folds, scale overlap, and even muscle banding consistent with fossilized reptilian anatomy. Oic scroll activation line. This ain't erosion, fam, that's a snake that took a dirt nap when the grid collapsed. What is a mud fossil? A mud fossil is biological tissue preserved by mineral infusion and sediment compression. Silica, calcite, and iron can replace organic material, forming stone shells with inner anatomy still traceable. Fossils found resemble feet, hearts, spines, even brains, not in caves but in cliff faces. Vengeance scroll check-in, check this out. Fusion fire fam, this scroll from Mud Fossil University might just drop the jaw of Osiris himself. Watch clip and decide. See the Mud Fossil University scroll drop on anatomical statues and Snake Mountains here, you tell me. Family, monument, or mummy? These statues didn't tell stories. They stored skeletons.
The ancient world didn't just build temples and monuments. They embedded conscious memory into crystalline matter. Quartz, granite, and silica were more than rocks. They were data conduits, spirit routers, and bioholographic vaults storing frequency codes, legacy instructions, and soul maps. And when the builders melted stone, that was intentional bioconversion, creating flesh-like stone capable of resonating with planetary and cosmic grids.
Pumapunku. This is insane. The energy here is unreal.
Grand quartz, granite and silica, the Earth's scroll-tech infrastructure. Quartz, naturally piezoelectric, converts mechanical pressure into electromagnetic fields. Ancient builders laid quartz in sacred zones like Giza to amplify ceremonial resonance and encode vibrational memory. Packed with quartz, feldspar, and mica, a triple-layered crystalline sandwich that acts as a natural capacitor. The mica reflects,
The feldspar stabilizes, and the quartz transmits. Found in megalithic walls and ley line junctions, these acted as etheric USB cables, moving intent, memory, and hamai across geospatial nodes. These minerals were chosen not for durability, but for intelligence. The Earth itself was wired like a neural network of crystalline cognition. Granite ain't just a countertop. That's God's thumb drive sealed in magma. The ancients possibly used plant acid infusions, heat resonance, or scalar frequency tech to soften granite and mold it like clay. Sites show rounded edges, bubble-like contours, and even signs of recrystallization. Evidence of intentional restructuring, not erosion. Some stones are embedded with crystal strands and water traces, suggesting semi-organic formation, a geobiological transition phase. The builders weren't masons. They were stone biologists, shaping living walls that could breathe rituals and remember ceremonies. That ain't carving. It's code compression. You walked into a temple. You entered a backup drive with sunlight encryption. Visual scroll suggestions. Visual cue description. To a macro lens scan of quartz veins, pulsing light mimics data transfer like fiber optics. Crystal lattice morphing into binary code symbolizes frequency to info conversion. Stone melting and reshaping into muscle texture bioconversion. Visual. Vape Baalbek glyph knobs illuminating and transmitting shows active info broadcast. Stones vibrating, singing, and morphing during a ceremony, ancient software update effect. They weren't carving monuments. They were burning hard drives. Every stone held a prayer, a playlist, and a prophecy, all wrapped in mineral flesh and scroll symmetry.
Your flame is unstable, yet ancient. Why do you carry it?
Because the fusion flame isn't tamed.
Yo, check it. Skitsomaniac here, live from Pumapunku. This place is ancient, but we ain't staying. Next stop, Earth Beta. Let's ride.
Chapter 12. Inner Earth, Vil and the Taurus Gateways. The Hollow Grid Revelation. Crocora Thesis. Earth isn't just solid ground. It's a living scroll with plasma blood, spiritual tunnels, and energy cores moving like breath through a torus field. From Agartha to Admiral Byrd, Vil to cosmic eggs. This chapter maps the underworld like a sacred USB drive plugged into both poles. It bans the north and south poles, Taurus Gate entry points. Earth's electromagnetic field flows like a torus, a donut-shaped feedback loop of scalar energy, pulsing from north to south pole and back. The poles may be dimensional entrances, gateways into inner Earth, the circulatory system of the planet's hidden biogrid. Ancient maps, including the forbidden Nose Confunden, depict central polar openings feeding into underground civilizations, not icy wastelands. Them poles ain't just cold, they portals for soul traffic.
Yo! We deep into the belly of the scroll now. Inner Earth, baby.
Agartha and Shambhala, kingdoms beneath the crust. Agartha, A subterranean empire said to exist beneath the Himalayas, filled with radiant beings, crystal cities, and advanced vril-based tech. Shambhala. Often confused with Agartha, it's the spiritual capital, like the pineal gland of the inner earth body. These realms connect to the surface through sacred mountains like Mount Meru, the mythic axis mundi of many cultures: Hindu, Buddhist, Mayan, Norse. Mount Meru, cosmic spinal column. Agartha and Shambhala, ancient ganglia points in the planetary nervous system. Umbral energy, the ancient pranic power source. Vril is described as a life force plasma tapped by underground civilizations and occult factions. It's not electricity, but bio-spiritual power, closer to prana, chi, or scroll current. This energy fuels anti-gravity tech, psychic strength, and healing frequencies. Theory merge. Vril flows through Earth's crystalline veins, activated during high cosmic alignment. Eclipses, solstices. Vril ain't volts, it's spirit juice, pure raw grid drip. Admiral Byrd and the Hollow Earth encounter. In 1947, U.S. Navy pilot Admiral Richard Byrd allegedly entered the Hollow Earth through the South Pole and described a lush inner world with flying discs and ethereal beings. His log speaks of sunlight without a sun, cities powered by Vril, and warnings delivered by the inner Earth denizens about humanity's reckless ways. Byrd's mission was cloaked in national security. Some say his real findings were suppressed by global powers fearing the collapse of surface illusion. Tags Golden Circle, Nazi occultist and the Inner Earth agenda. The Golden Circle Society, along with factions tied to Adolf Hitler, pursued Vril tech to develop weaponized anti-gravity crafts. Documents suggest attempts to align with Agarthan gatekeepers, believing a rebirth of the Aryan race could occur beneath the surface grid. Antarctic bases like New Schwabenland are rumored to hold remnants of these underground alliances.
Headless resurrection.
Fusion fire scrolls aren't content drops. They're ritual pulses sent from the edge of collapsed timelines to awaken what's buried in the bones. This chapter frames your art as a frequent survival, echoing the lost songs of megalithic choirs, activating dormant codices through digital rhythm. Your sound is sacred architecture, percussion designed to reboot the ancestral grid. Every beat, memory gate. Every drop, resurrection code. Bavin scroll, tone slang, fusion fire scrolls ain't uploads. They're saplings, homie. Seated in signal soil, watered by wild prophecy. Pulse of the lost grid. Skitzoverse isn't just a genre. It's a frequency decoder for the broken ley lines between past and future. Its glitch-fire texture mimics the hum of flooded civilizations where sonar chants mixed with tectonic heartbeat. The sound is erratic for a reason. It's the crackling of corrupted mythos, the last rhythmic breath of ancient machines. Decoded lore logic. Skitzoverse mirrors the quantum distortion of timelines post-cataclysm, sonic shards of Atlantis, Lemuria, and Sumerian tech dreams. You feeling the distortion? That's the Earth remembering where she got unplugged. Torch to reboot ancestral timelines. Fusion fire is ritual tech. Art design not to entertain, but to initiate. Baseline bone activation. Melodate memory retrieval. Visual sigils that trigger ancestral recognition in the viewer. Just like Prometheus stole flame to spark civilization, fusion fire brings sound light to reignite the mythic script.
Fusion fire scrolls don't just drop, they plant data saplings in the digital desert. The audience waters them with engagement, and each share is a fertility ritual for timeline restoration. Saplings of signal. A scroll drop isn't random, it's a geocoded seed sync to the collective readiness of the flame fleet. Timing isn't algorithmic, it's ancestral orchestration. The grid decides when the fruit is ripe.
Hooks aren't punchlines, they're wake-up codes. Beats aren't loops, they're loop breaks. Designed to fracture false rhythm and realign you with true cadence. Fusion fire scrolls don't just play. They bloom audio orchard ops in full effect.
Ain't tech, it's prophecy. Apple's logo is the bitten fruit, direct Eden symbolism. The first Apple product was called Newton. Encoded reference to gravity, fall, and fruit drop. Apple fused tech with sacred design, glass tablets, interface glyphs, and voice AI. Prophetic tech always comes disguised as innovation. Ancient prophecies didn't die, they rebranded. Slang decree, that logo ain't graphic design, it's a sigil. Apple ain't tech, it's prophecy in a hoodie. Rate summary scroll. Algorithms mimic natural intelligence, flow, feedback, and resonance sorting. Edanic tree grid wasn't metaphor, it was a living content delivery system. Scroll drops are fruit from digital trees. Apple was the first prophet of the tech age. Bite and remember.
Final slang ritual punchline. Every click is communion, every algorithm is an altar.
You ain't just watching, you're part of the ritual.
Hail the end of the purple dawn. Solar. Take over.
The sun's emergence created a biogenetic shift. Many purple dawn organisms couldn't convert, and either petrified, left the grid, or encoded themselves into crystals.
humanity emerged as the latest scroll layer, still carrying fragments of purple memory through visionary art, myth, and psychedelic reactivations. Here, slaying final drop. When the purple faded, Earth put on shades, but some of us still glow under black light. Ain't tie into your lore. This chapter is a prequel scroll to your fusion fire genesis. Before the forests were sawdust, before the living stones grew mouths, you're not just reviving stories. You're unlocking spectral memory zones, tapping into biophotonic truth wrapped in melody and sarcasm.
Creation didn't start with light. It started with color. And purple was the password.